boxing.com.
Oh, okay. Yes, awesome, brother.
Actually, one of my personal favorite Talking Dynasty was the Governor episode, the last one.
Oh, yes, my death episode. I know what's happening, what's going on.
Ranking in the top 5, honestly.
I think so.
Really emotional.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering, do you miss, obviously, you can't come back, but do you miss being on the show?
Yeah, you know what? I miss the camaraderie. You know, it's like being on a great basketball team and being traded, but you still miss that old team because, we scored together. We made championships together. We made championship television together. So yeah, of course I miss it.
But it's interesting you moved on to another dystopian kind of show. Now you're about to dystopian future in TREADWATER.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's part of why I was drawn to it. You know what I mean? You always want to take ownership creatively somewhere. You don't always want to be at the mercy of the studio or the producers or the industry at large. So I met some incredible guys that came up with something that I found super compelling, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I love the timeliness of the story. It's 15 years in the future. The Euro crash. That's what's going down, man. So they were ahead of the game. And I think once people get a hold of it, they're going to find it's the type of thing that will help them process real life. It's that buffer that helps you. Just like The Walking Dead really does help to quell people's fear if something apocalyptic were to happen. Like you have hoarders and, there are people who genuinely fear that this could happen. And the show is like a refuge for that. And so I think TREADWATER could be a refuge for what's going on today.
When you prepare for a role, I noticed you mentioned fear a lot. Is that what you really take in?
Vulnerability. Fear is, they say, fear is a great motivator. But fear is actually just vulnerability. It's the unknown. It's not having the answer, not knowing which way to go, not knowing where it's coming from. That creates a ball of vulnerability. And so, yes. Right, well, I mean, if you can include that in it as well, and they use that because that's the one thing about Tyreese, that he wasn't afraid. He wasn't trying to mask the fact that he was vulnerable and afraid. He was strong enough as a man to be open about that and try to find ways to deal with that honestly rather than just being brutish.
In that moment when the governor walked out and said to you, the bill has to be paid.
Yeah.
And everybody's kind of telling you, oh, if you've done this or you've done that,
that's
maybe
right.
something could change for your life.
Yes.
Do you take that personally as, oh, maybe if I had done this kind of approach, maybe if I had done that, my life.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look at the hallucination scene, that is his subconscious. The things he suppressed, all of that fear, that doubt, that I should have did this, I should have did that, and there's a cost for me feeling so vulnerable. That's what the governor's saying. There's a cost for you being this sensitive, humane person in this crazy, corrupt, post-apocalyptic world. There's a cost for holding on to your humanity. And a part of that cost is like the second guessing. And a part of that cost is decisions that brought about outcomes that were unfavorable.
You seem like, obviously, an ultra-confident kind of guy. Do you ever second-guess yourself ever?
You know what? I've grown. See, let me put it to you like this. I go back to vulnerability. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to not know. It's okay to second guess yourself. As long as it's a part of a process that leads to a resolve. And as you notice, Tyreese ended up very firmly on his own 2 feet, completely understanding that his ideology and his way of life, he in that is questioning things, turning it over, looking at it from all different angles, and trying to find the softest landing possible.
In TREADWATER, before I was shown, one of the creators how this reality kind of aspect of the comics,
Yeah.
with your phone, people are standing.
Yeah.
I wanted you to talk about.
Well, I was the person who came up with the tagline because there's an operative inside of all of us. Who doesn't want to be James Bond? Now, the beauty of TREADWATER is James Bond looks like this, James Bond looks like that, James Bond looks like a woman, you know what I mean? So we are all inclusive about that whole experience and the magic of espionage and, you know, government intrigue and all the things that we find fascinating.
And I've heard that they're going to have a game coming out. They already obviously have the mobile app.
Yeah, we're working. This thing is huge. That's correct. And when have you seen a franchise like this birth? In a while, you really haven't. So, and we're going at it from every different angle, which is why we call it a transmedia franchise. So whichever way you want it, we got it. And whichever way takes off first, everything feeds the next thing. The popularity of the graphic novel will feed the TV show being developed. The TV show feeds the video game. The graphic novel feeds the video game. You see what I'm saying?
That'd be the social media.
There you go. Yeah, you got it.
And how do you feel currently about your career? You want to eventually venture out to film?
Oh no, I mean that's where I'm moving. I'm very, very happy with what's happening in television. Obviously television is the new film, but it's always been my dream to be a filmer. To have a heavy impact and presence in the film world. Yes, of course. In acting, directing, and producing. And I'm a larger-than-life personality. Sometimes I'm larger than that box. You need me on that big screen, where my presence can live without being too much.
How is your clothing line doing?
Hey, we're doing well. What we're doing right now, we realize that it's a process. So dealing with entities, certain larger entities, can be a little precarious. So we're developing our own stuff, beanies, t-shirts, and that feature a God amongst the company. And so we're going to have the site redone and live by next Friday with all new products and available for purchase.
What do you feel is the coolest piece of apparel?
I love the God amongst beanie with the T in amongst as a hammer. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears to that role. So, and people love my relationship to that character. So, as legally and subtly as we can, it's going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. So, I want to include it as, unencumbered as possible, some of the choices that we make in the clothing line.
For you as obviously it's a personality of the person, when you have like in TREADWATER, you look like yourself, you're recording it yourself.
Yeah.
Is it surreal? Or you just get used to it, you're like,
yeah, I get used to it because I am a person that can be objective. Once in between action and cut is the best I can do. The rest is the director putting it together. I'm at the mercy of the rest of the storytellers. So once I'm comfortable that every time out I give my best, when I see it, I don't fixate on, oh, my head looks like this, or why was I like that? I don't do that. I just get into the story. I'm saying, yes. No, I'm saying if it's on, I'm not like, turn it off, I won't look. I'll sit and watch it, and I'll watch it as a audience member. I'm able to separate myself from me, the actor, and look.
It doesn't run in your head like, oh, maybe I should have done that.
Yeah, no. I don't allow that. I'm just strictly about the story because there's nothing I can do about that. That will never change. So I'm like, well, what is it that you're seeing right now? If I didn't know me, would I be fixated on me? You know, no. I'd be into the story. So that's what I'm able to do.
Notice you have new glasses.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? This is a product of I am 50. But,
You don't look it. I thought you were much younger.
I know African American don't crack. That's how the saying goes, right? So, no. First of all, my girlfriend, I credit her taste, and we work together on it and say what would be best for me. And I have a lot of energy and a lot of verve about me, so I wanted something with pop, but also class. So I think we hit it out of the park. As you see, my sense of humor. Hey, brother, it's been my pleasure. Thank you. Great questions.